I'm going to begin this with a review of Graphic for the iPad. I've previously reviewed this for the iMac. So we're using a successor of iDraw. This app is called Graphic, and I'm using it on an iPad. I also have it on my iMac computer. And the first thing we're going to do is create a heart like the one we have here. And I'm going to go to Layers and create a new layer. Now I'm going to turn off the heart layer that is currently showing so I could start anew. Hide the layers. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a circle. And I'm going to move it a little with the move tool. It's in the upper left side. And even up all the corners so it's a symmetrical circle. Now we have 4 points: east, west, north, and south. And east and west I'm going to move up about 2 inches a piece. So we're going to go to the path tool, and I'll pull up the west node first. These are nodes or anchor points, the little squares. Now the right side. Now what I'm going to do is use the center node. And first I'll use the convert tool on the lower left. And the convert tool allows me to make direction handles. And they look like TV antennas now. And I'm going to make them symmetrical more or less. Now the right side first. One other thing before I continue, the bottom node I'm going to click on, and this will convert it into a point rather than a curve, like so. Now I'll do the left direction handle, the bottom handle. Actually, let me go back. I'm going to use the convert node again and just pull a little. Now you have to be careful, because if you pull downwards sometimes, see how the line wraps itself. So make sure that you have the line facing the right way, and we get the heart about the same place with the left curve as with the right curve. And the next thing to do is to color inside. And on the bottom left side you'll see a white dot. And now we go to the bottom and pick red color, and that colors the whole inside. I like making hearts like this because they are not symmetrical. There's lots of ways on YouTube that show you how to make specific shapes, combine them in a union, and it'll be just maybe the half side of a heart, and then they duplicate it and flip it, and it makes a perfect heart. But I kind of like this whole idea of not being perfect. There's beauty in imperfection. And of course, I could touch up the heart a little. There, that looks nice. And that's an example of what I do on graphics. Now, what I'll do is if you push the back button on the top left, it will save if you wish. Save as copy, don't save, save. So I'll save and show you some of my other work. One of the great things about graphic is the brush tool. And if you use this tool, it's pressure sensitive. I'm using an Apple Pencil. So if I start light and push down as I go, you could see that the line is thinner at the setting. And another wonderful thing is you could change directions and move the line any way you want. And you also have your anchor points, and you could curve the line and smooth it. Now that's the brush tool. And you also have the pencil tool. When you use the pencil tool, there is no pressure sensitivity. So I'm starting light and pushing harder, and you'll see that the width of the line stays the same. The clever thing about this program is if you want to increase the stroke, you can do so here after the line is created. You can see it getting wider. This curve tool is nice. I could make another curve, and they're very smooth curves. Using the move tool, you could see I could make it look very much like the curved line below it. It's a really awesome program. Now I'm going to go back and not save, and I'll show you one other example of my work. And this was done late one night. You could see the sun here. If you choose it, you could pick the color, change the color of the sun if you'd like. A nice thing about this program is its vector lines, which means as I make this picture bigger, there are no pixels involved, and there's no loss or degradation of the actual picture. This is the pen tool, and you could do tracing with this. I'll often put a figure underneath, maybe the Statue of Liberty or a chair or a rooster, and you could trace around it like so. Or you could stop and pull and make a curved, smoother line. And then you click where you began, and it closes the circle or the shape. Again, we use the convert tool, and you could smooth off any points you desire. If you want, you could go to the pen tool and delete some of the points. This helps smooth out a line sometimes. I'm going to go back to the path tool. Drag the lines closer to each other and select the two nodes. You could go to path, which is on the top right, and close path. Now we have a closed shape. You could also color the line instead of coloring inside, and we do that with the bottom circle on the left that looks like a donut. To the right of that is the fill, and we could make that, let's say, blue or light purple. Darken it a little. There we go. So you get the idea. This program is awesome. In this review I'm doing is of two programs. And the other program that is not Vector is Art Studio Pro, which is a little more advanced than Art Studio. And what I do with Art Studio is I do all the fine tuning here. If I want to touch up the hair or put in the skin colors, you could see the shirt colors on the right. And the brushes are just phenomenal here. So let's take a look at that. This is pretty much a straight line brush, and if you click on the brushes, which is on the bottom to the left of size, it'll show you what kind of brush you're using up top, which is Clean Ink brush, 50 pixels. So if I change the color to black, let's say, I could actually touch up the hair here. And you wouldn't know which program that was done in, if this was done in Graphics or Art Studio. We have an eraser. Make it larger. Now you can see I'm also erasing the background. I normally wouldn't do something like this. But if I did, I would make another layer with a white background and put it beneath everything. Let me show you real quickly. I'm going to add a layer. Use the bucket tool. You can see some of the detail is gone, of course, and that is because the layer is not in the right place. So we're going to move layer 6 to the bottom. And there you have it. Beautiful. One more thing I'd like to show you. I'm going to paint in the hair on the middle individual. I've created a transparent layer. It's layer number 7. And you can see if I paint here, it shows up nicely, but it's a little too thick. The stroke is a little too thick. So I'm going to put that more towards 57 or so. There we go. Now the great thing about painting in another layer is if you make a mistake, you could go to the eraser and you could just affect your most recent strokes. In other words, if I paint over the hair and the face, you can see only the strokes I've been putting in to color in the hair are affected. And that's one of the advantages of layers. So these two wonderful programs for the iPad, Graphic and Art Studio Pro, I rate 5 stars. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe to my channel.